That's bad.
Alright, what's up guys? We're over at Pops' shop. We're gonna try and get some more work done on the Skylark, hopefully in a little bit warmer climate. Got a bunch of boxes in this thing. I got the fuel system over there, the Terminator X, and we got the transmission here. Cross member's also in the car. So I'm hoping slowly we can get the transmission in the car. Hopefully we don't have to cut up the floor too much. But I did move the engine back to get it to clear everything. So last time you saw it, these were bolted about 1.5 inches further ahead, and oil pan hit the cross member, switched to the truck pan sat on the steering, so took the bolts out, shifted it back, just welded it to the frame, and steering works now, so I'll just deal with whatever we have to do with the transmission to make that work. Yeah, and then fuel system, it's just an inline pump, Corvette style regulator, 6AN line up to the engine. Gonna do the same thing I did on that blue Camaro a few years ago and just put the pump up there, let it suck out of the tank. You as cold as you look?
Yeah. It sucks outside.
Yeah. It's one of the reasons I begged him to let us move this over here. His is a little bit better insulated and has a proper furnace.
Yeah, just gotta get the furnace to kick on and warm up.
Yeah. First time we've had it on the hoist, it didn't fall apart, so that's good. Believe it or not, we have picked up cars before and the rear end has just stayed on the floor. I'm almost a little nervous to look underneath of it. I know it needs some floor work, but I'm just hoping everything else is pretty solid.
Got this one on the spring, or the bar.
Oh, yeah.
Wonder if I ought to put that one on the bar. Or move this one to the frame.
Yeah, you can probably put a 2x4 under here.
Alright.
Let me look at it real quick though, over here.
Oh no, we're coming down.
Oh God! Alright, got it back up. Yeah, see the floor there, which I knew about that, but as long as the frame and everything is good, which it looks like it is. Yeah, frame all looks fine. A little bit up there, but that's not a big deal. Yep, so this is our current problem. Trying to make that, not the dog, transmission fit in here. Alright, moment of truth. Let's see how bad this thing doesn't fit.
Yeah, we'll get up there first. So say put the torque converter in case it fits great.
Yeah, I mean we can get that knocked out real quick.
Let's see if we have the weight worth of shit.
Yeah, good luck. Alright, converter's in. We're gonna hawk these things off real quick. Get them out of the way because this header's pretty close. This one might have cleared, but we'll just get them out of the way. Good old Circle D converter. This is the original one that I had in Goldie Hawn when we did the 4L80 on that. You know, if this doesn't fit, I do have that 4L60 still, because I'd like to have this thing overdrive. And the 4L60 would probably clear.
Alright, time to find another blade.
Yeah, that was
taking a long ass way around.
took the scenic route. God dang. Alright, while he's looking for blades, let's get back here, look at this fuel tank. See what's going on with it. Alright, we do have 3 lines, so that's good. So we've got a vent line, a return line, and a feed line. Both of these look big, so I'm not sure which one of these is the actual feed line. I don't know how well you guys can even see what I'm talking about. So, there's... This one's... I would wager that one's the feed line, because it's off by itself. And then probably return vent, because that one's the smallest. It's like a 1/4 inch or so. Could be 5/16. But I think it's 1/4 and feels like 2 3/8 lines. Alright, he got both sides cut off. I was back there looking at the tank. Let me move this over a little bit. Right about in there. Yeah, she's really filling that space, huh? Alright, this side's where it needs to be. This side's actually a little above the pin.
Oh.
If we rotate it. Wow. I know it's not up there all the way, but that's way better than I thought. Yeah, I was gonna say, let's cut those lines out of the way. Yeah, right in here, needs to get pounded up. What about the other side? Oh, that side cleared. It needs massaging, but it's not as bad as I was expecting. I guess let's mark where we need to hit. Don't know how much of it we'll be able to hit. Or just go right through the floor. Yeah, right in there. And then basically that section. Over here we could clearance this a little bit. Alright, I think I got it all marked. Yeah, I think we might be able to beat the heck out of the floor, and once it fits up above, I can weld in a bunch of patch panels later on. Alright, where's me mallet?
That's it. I'm getting me mallet.
Alright, thanks to the persuader here, made what looks like enough clearance for this thing. Got a whole hand's worth there. Got all this cleared out. You can see how great this floor is. I am going to have to do something about that. Clearance for the lines. Clearance for the lines. Plenty around the bell housing. Yeah, looks like we should be in business. Got 4 of the bolts started.
Yeah, there's no way with those ears on training it would have cleared the pipe.
Yeah. This one I think might have. But yeah, this side.
Oh no, it was way out here. Oh, damn it.
I'll edit that out. Pretend it never happened.
Might have.
Yeah, it could have made it work. Everybody loves when we dent pipes in around here. Heck yeah, we are in business.
Trans mount is where? In the car?
Yep,
Figures.
trans mount's up in the car. What idiot left that up there? Yeah, he asked me, he's like, did you bring the trans mount over? And I said, yeah, it's in the car. And we never lowered the car down.
Well, didn't I ask you to get the shit out of the car before you put it up?
I didn't think the transmission would fit. I completely thought that I was gonna have to cut the whole tunnel out and shift it back a few inches. Alright, our gearbox tail shaft locator. We shouldn't have to modify that unless the tail of the transmission's down too low, which I hope it's not. Looks like the motor's on a little bit of an angle, but not too bad, really. We should be able to just slide that to where we need and drill new holes in the frame and bolt that up. That's what I'm hoping. Fingers crossed. Oh, we got a bunch to choose from. Holy crap.
What?
So we got a bunch of holes to choose from. Holy crap. In the Holly instructions, it said that we would have to drill new holes, but you think it matters if this is front or back? I'm sure it matters. I guess what I was asking is which way should we try first?
I would try the other way around. That could pose as a pain in the ass.
Maybe it does need to go the other way. It's like one of those little puzzles where it's like a key on a chain or something. You got to figure out how to get it off.
Oh yeah.
There's got to be a way to make this thing fit.
Oh, there is. There will be, and I will.
All right, we got it in place. We cut a slot in that so we could get it in there. And then cut the rubber mount back in place. Now we get to figure out these holes. Alright, this side is, we got one over here. Huh. It's like it's not wide enough for these holes.
What?
When this one lines up, that one doesn't. Because the cross member, the holes aren't wide enough. Alright, that worked out pretty dang good. Got this thing all bolted up. It fit in the trans tunnel a whole lot better than all the forums would make you think. Just dented in here to clear the lines. Well, I say dented, but didn't take much. And then did the same thing up here, and for the bell housing over here, we got plenty of room. And drive shaft should have enough clearance. Looks like it's not going to be a super long drive shaft either. I guess now I can start running the fuel system. Alright, so for the fuel system, this is just Amazon 6AN line, 20 feet of hose and like 9,000 fittings. It was $60. And this Corvette style fuel filter regulator, this puts it at 58 psi, has its own return system so you don't have to deal with all that. That was $31 again on Amazon because I'm a cheap ass. And it came with the fittings, which is nice to adapt it all to 6AN. And our inline filter, this is a Most Plus, which is probably one of the better respected brands of Amazon stuff. I've used this style, not this specific one, but this style a few times, which is why I was willing to run it again. This I'm pretty sure is a 380. Yeah, it should be a 380 inline pump. And again, comes with the 6AN lines, little isolator sleeve, clamps to put it wherever. So pretty basic deal. All we got to do is, let's see. This, I thought, oh, that sucks. Alright, this was supposed to come with the 3/8 line to 6AN adapters. So what I did on that blue Camaro a few years ago, I used a 255 Walbro for that actually. But this will still work just fine. So I showed you where the fuel lines are earlier, and we're just going to find a spot, zip that up there so that it can suck out of the pump or out of the tank pretty good, and then we'll just mount the regulator back here with it so that it can just be a short line right back to the tank. No reason, I think, to have it go all the way up. Well, I mean, it's better to have it go all the way up as close to the engine as possible and then regulate back, but we're not really worried about that right now. We just want this thing running.
Brake.
Yeah, and you're good to keep going. I was going to run those back into the stock pipes until we noticed these are like 1 3/4 pipes. You just measured in the inside diameter, this is 1 3/4. So, we ain't doing that. Probably just run that to some 3-inch to some like little bullets and then dump it at the axle. Alright, so let me show you what I have planned for the fuel system. I've already kind of gone over it a little bit with like the lines and everything and the rough ideas, but the actual layout, I think to try and keep, because I'm just going to self-tap the fuel pump and stuff in place, the fuel pump and the filter. You know, we're not getting fancy with this thing. I mean, look at these bushings. I'm not replacing those bushings anytime soon. So I'm just going to zip screw them somewhere. And I don't want those going up through the floor because, you know, I'd like to use the floor. I'd like to be able to toss stuff in the trunk and not worry about it getting all screwed up, pun intended. So we've got this big open space that should be fine. And it's high enough up that when the axle goes up, it should clear. We'll have some slop in the lines, but overall should be good. So that's where I'm going to put the fuel pump and the filter regulator. So it'll be, imagine tank here, feed line going over to the pump, and then it'll go right into the regulator. That'll do its thing, spit that back out. Those will both go to the tank. And then from this, it'll just be the one line right up to the fuel rails, which I'll probably use this one because the way I have these rails right now, the feed is at the front here, so I'll run that line up and then whoop-de-doo it right in there. I still have to change this, and this was just to keep stuff out of the engine while I was bringing it over. So that is my plan for the fuel system. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Like I said, I know it's a 6AN line and just an inline 380 pump, but it should support plenty of horsepower for this thing. I mean, let's be honest, that engine's going to make in the neighborhood of 400 at the crank. This will support that all day. Honestly, I think we could even... I think it would be fine for like 5, 6, 7 pounds of boost. And then after that, we'd probably start running out. So I don't plan on boosting this anytime soon. If I do, I can always toss a bigger inline pump and step up the fuel lines. But for now, we should be good. I actually have a buddy who made pretty good horsepower through one of these. So that's definitely worth noting. So I'm going to start throwing all this together. Like I said, oh, these are the fittings that I was talking about coming off the tank. So they just kind of screw on to those push connect style fittings. And then you can switch it to AN line. So I've got to get a couple of these ordered for the tank. So until those show up, we won't be able to completely finish our fuel system, but we can get everything else in place. We can get the lines made from these and up to the motor. We just won't be able to connect them at the tank for now. Plus, I'm not going to wire it up right now anyway. We've already done, as far as the transmission goes, a lot more than I expected to get done today. So that's a huge achievement, I think. Pump and the filter are in their places now. So I can make the little jumper line to connect those, and we can run the line up to the engine now. Luckily there should be enough room behind this spring mount to run the line along there and then follow the frame. Alright, this is actually working out pretty well so far. Got that little connection made. None of these fittings are tight. Kind of note to self, I'm sure I'll forget to tighten them and then wonder why I've got 9,000 fuel leaks. And then this one made it through that little slot in the spring perch. It's following the rails here. Then we go up to the motor. See, no reason to complicate things. And actually I was thinking on Cletus's Mustang McFlurry, they had like a 380 pump with 6AN lines, and what'd they make, like close to 600 wheel horsepower with that? So, I mean, just goes to show this setup will be plenty for what we've got. Got the fuel line zip tied to the brake line down there. Little P-clamp to hold it out of the way of the exhaust. And then got that marked. Just running into a little horseshoe. Should work great. Ready to cut it and get that all together, and then aside from wiring up the pump, we're done with the fuel system. Oh, and those lines to the tank, yeah, forgot about that. Alright, so now that the fuel line is all done, looking pretty good, still needs to be, yeah, should be fine there actually. We can start moving on to the front. I got the new timing cover on, I got to put the cam sensor in there, and then we can put the water pump on, and he's heating up the crank pulley so we can slide that on real quick. Just heating it up to like 120 degrees, just enough to expand it a little bit. Everything down here is so cold, just expand it like a thousandth and it'll slide right on. A lot of people are worried about melting the seals there. Honestly, I've had those things almost glowing red and slid it on and never leaked. God dang, this thing got dirty coming over here. But we have made some killer progress today. We got the transmission in, bolted up, all that's good to go. Got a measurement for the drive shaft. I think it's going to need to be about 48 inches center to center of the U-joints. Because right now at droop, from flange to flange, or from flange to center of the rear U-joints, it is 52.5. So I think 48 should give us some slip, maybe even 47. I've got this aluminum one that I have no idea what this came out of. The yoke fits perfect, but the drive shaft near me, DTS, they don't cut them down anymore. We've called twice in the past, and they said no, they ship them out to some place in Detroit to have it all done. So who knows? And got the fuel system all done aside from two like 10-inch sections of hose, which will be real easy, and wire up the pump. Everything back here still pretty easy to get to, not any harder than anything else. So we're looking pretty darn good. Making lots and lots of progress. Like I said, still got the Holly to install, Terminator X Max, so we can control the transmission. And probably in the next video or so, I might bring the core support over. I got to weld up a small piece on that so that we can bolt it down, get the radiator mounted, and get hoses and stuff on that. But we're trucking right along, man. Perfect. I'm gonna run these, I think they're 3/4 of an inch spacers behind the F-body water pump to clear the truck crank, and then I might end up putting a truck accessory bracket on it for the power steering. Got the power steering, so it'd be nice to use it.
Yeah.
Alright, so got the cam sensor in this little extension deal. I'm pretty sure to use this with the Holly setup that I have to flip two of those wires around, so I'll have to do more reading on that because I flat out do not remember. And then I choked and grabbed the wrong water pump bolts, so those are too short to use with the spacers. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at for today. I know I'm kind of beating a dead horse, but we made a lot more progress than I thought we would have. I thought just the transmission was going to take all day, because I thought I was going to have to cut the tunnel and slide it back a couple inches and then weld it back in and weld in some filler pieces and all that crap. Doesn't happen often, but when it happens, I'll take it. So, like I said, everything we got done today. We got the transmission mounted, got the converter bolted up, fuel pump mounted, regulator mounted, the lines ran aside from the two little ones to the tank, front end of the motor all back together, steering wheel off to get started on switching the ignition switch. Got a measurement for the drive shaft. I'll look into that. I got to order those two little fittings to the tank. I've got to order a dipstick because the stock 481 goes into the tunnel, and a few other things here and there. So that's going to do it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing, clicking that bell to get the notifications. We'll see you next time.